Okay. A few proposals that have been made recently, and I'm sure you're going to see them again, so I want you to be familiar with them. So one is that people are saying that we should raise benefits. Bernie Sanders is saying let's raise benefits. Republicans are saying we need to cut benefits. And one way that they've suggested that is that there's currently a cost of living adjustment on Social Security, meaning that if there's inflation, the seniors get more to take account for inflation. Okay? And they use a particular way of calculating that. And the proposal is to use a different way of calculating it that will give the seniors less money. Okay? So it's a cut, but it's real sneaky and real sophisticated. Okay? Nobody understands it. You guys are all falling asleep right now. So it's clearly a good policy. Okay? If you want to snow people over, essentially. There's the payroll tax. I mentioned in an earlier class, I think, that people only pay Social Security tax on their first $102,000 of income. So people who are richer are not paying as much of a percentage. Okay? And so Bernie Sanders has proposed getting rid of this, taxing everyone on their full income so that he can raise more money for the Social Security system. Another proposal from the Republicans is to raise the retirement age. The notion here is that people are living longer, and they are. Okay? But the problem is that poorer people are not living longer, and also poorer people often do physical work that requires that they retire at 65. Okay? If you're sitting on your ass like a professor, yeah, maybe you can work a little longer. Okay? But if you're digging ditches, no, it's not going to happen. Okay? And I want to show you this picture. This is, wow, is that blurry? Okay. So this is the lifetime expectancy for two different sets of earners. So the dark blue are the bottom half of earners, okay? And the light blue are the top half of earners, okay? And this is their life expectancy at 65, okay? And this is how it's changed over time. So in 1977, the two groups had a very similar life expectancy. I don't even, what's the number? No, let me look on my computer. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. So they're going to live to 80. So yeah, so here, these people are going to live to about 79. These people are going to live till 80 in 1977. Here we are in 2006, I think this is. The poor people are now going to live all the way to 81. The richer people are going to now live to 86. Okay? So this increase in life expectancy that's going to justify changing Social Security, it only happened for them. It didn't happen for these people. I mean, this is astonishing. Okay? I guess another thing I'll add is that African Americans have a lower life, and especially African American males have a lower life expectancy than do whites. Okay? And so if you change the retirement age, that has a racial disparity attached to it. Okay. All right, and this might be my last slide. No, it's not. Okay. This was a proposal under George W. Bush. And the old people freaked out, the AARP freaked out, and they killed it. Okay? It's another demonstration of their power. Here's what he wanted to do. The Social Security tax is currently about 12%. He wanted to allow people to take a third of that, 4%, and put it into a private account. Okay? So they would not be giving that money to the Social Security system. They'd instead be putting that money in a private account, and they could invest that money. Okay? The individuals would make their own investment decisions. They would also decide at what age they wanted to retire. They would be able to, the money they earned in that account, they would be able to, their children would be able to inherit it. There was an argument that it would turn American workers into shareholders in the economy because they would be investing in the stock market with this money. What is that? It's a 401k, right? So they're turning part of Social Security into a 401k. That's what they're doing. Okay? And who loved this idea? Yes, but Wall Street. Because who's going to administer this billions and billions of dollars that is going to be in these accounts, and people are going to be investing, and there'll be fees, right? Yes, go ahead. Yes, because it's sort of a way to get people to move out of Social Security. And then later you could say, well, let's make it 8%, et cetera. And then eventually Social Security goes away and you just have the 401k. That's sort of the plan.
So, like, was that, like, because you want to get rid of Social Security?
Yes.
Would you say, like, it's like they're not on their own?
This is their, yeah. And well, the other thing about this is we already know about yield disparity, right? So we know that 4% set aside, that richer people are going to do better in the market and poorer people are likely not going to do as well. So it's going to increase inequality, essentially. Amanda?
Is Social Security heritable or not?
No.
When you pass away?
No. That's true. I mean, if there's still a spouse, they receive, or children, they would receive benefits. But no, it's not heritable. So let me just stop for a second. So let's say you die at 65, right? You paid into retirement your entire life, and you got nothing, right?
That's where 1K is.
Pardon me?
Where 1K is.
So 401k, of course, yeah. So 401k is just an amount of money you have. So you would definitely be able to send that to your children. And I mean, so that's annoying, right? You basically lost all that money. But also you have to think of you can think of Social Security as insurance, right? So it's basically redistributing money from the people who die quickly from the people who live a long time, okay? And it insures the members of it of being able to retire no matter how long they live in dignity, essentially. But yeah, that would suck. Don't die at 65, all right? Okay. Now, here's the critique of this private account question. So the first thing about it is it actually did nothing for the shortfall. They were going to move all this money and let people put it in their private accounts, and they made it sound like they were going to use it to fix the shortfall, but it didn't actually. I mean, think about it. What would it do to start to do that? And in fact, they were going to have to they were going to have to borrow a whole bunch of money to do this because they still were going to have to pay the current retirees, right? They're going to let all the workers take that 4% out of the Social Security system, and there would be less money to pay today's retirees. They would have had to borrow the money. That's the first point. $2 trillion in borrowing. Okay, so this is the other thing, which is quite interesting, and this is that. So you would have winners and losers in this system, so it wouldn't reduce poverty. This is a really good point here, and this is that when you are poor, and your retirement really depends mainly on Social Security rather than other things, the investment strategy for you is not to take a lot of risk because you're deeply dependent on your Social Security benefit, okay? And thus, if you pursued the correct strategy, you would get low returns, okay? It's just not wise to take an aggressive strategy, okay? Higher income people who aren't as dependent on their Social Security benefits because they have other savings as well, they can take more risks. And so their yield would most likely be higher on this 4% that's set aside. It would reduce redistribution because, as we know, Social Security is taking from the rich and giving to the poor. If you let everyone take 4% of their own income and put it somewhere, that doesn't redistribute it at all. Okay? There would be longevity risk, meaning the money would have to last you. Okay? High administrative costs, profits to Wall Street. There's a danger that people would start to ask Congress if they could take their money early, which might happen. And then lastly, we already have something like this, the IRA and the Roth IRA. There's no reason to add this. It would just be it would be hurting Social Security, and that's really the intent. Okay? All right, so the last question, we have 5 minutes. And this is this. So the American welfare state disproportionately benefits the old, okay? Through Medicare, through the old people who are on Medicaid, and through the Social Security system, and SSI I would add as well. So disproportionately, benefits are going to the old. Is that good or bad? What would you do about it? They call it greedy geezers. Who's they? Good question. Actually, when you get old, you start saying they all the time because you never know where you read anything. You're just like, oh, Time magazine, I don't know. Anyway, Sam. Can you guess what I might say? What? It's bad. What do I want to do? I want to tax the shit out of everyone, right? So I mean, this question, implied in this question is that you have a limited, you have as much money as we currently have, but we don't, right? So I would give the old people more. I'd also give the young people more, right? So I don't think this is I think this is a false choice, essentially, right? I mean, we saw that our pensions are lower than most other countries, right? And certainly our child poverty rate is disgusting. So I think, there's room for improvement in both groups, essentially. But I get these healthcare arguments. I mean, we're going to talk next class that a big part of this is that we're wasting a ton of money on healthcare. And so that would be a place to, that's not even, another implication here is that when you cut money from the old, that they're suffering more or losing a benefit. But if there's money being wasted, that's not benefiting anyone. And so there may be ways to cut Medicare without hurting the old, essentially. All right, we'll see you next time.